they are gathered in my name, I'll be with them. Although you are scattered, I'm drawing you back to love you again. So come unto me, my child, and I'll give you peace. Then you will be B'nai Shalom. B'nai Shalom, children of peace. B'nai Shalom, on Yeshua will feast. B'nai Shalom, children of peace. B'nai Shalom, through Yeshua will be B'nai Shalom. Love one another as you have seen me love you. My sister, my brother, do as I command you, and come unto me, my child, and I'll give you peace. Then you will be B'nai Shalom. B'nai Shalom, children of peace. B'nai Shalom, on Yeshua will feast. B'nai Shalom, children of peace. B'nai Shalom, through Yeshua will be B'nai Shalom, children of peace. B'nai Shalom, children of peace.
Hallelujah. Blessed be the name of Yahweh and Rosh Chodesh. Sameach. To all of you, good to be with you once again. We actually going to do kind of a quick broadcast today, and hope that your week has been blessed. We are too blessed to be stressed here in the Ozarks of Southern Missouri. Too many blessings. Got to keep counting them. Because whenever you think you're going through something difficult, start thinking about the good things the Father's done for you. Not the least of which, saving us from eternal damnation. Praise Yahweh for His love and goodness toward us. And it is officially the 13th month on Yahweh's calendar. And I'm sure there's lots of new moon reports out there. Got one from Brother Neil up in Iowa, many other places. But the big news of the day is no Aviv barley was discovered in Israel, according to many witnesses who are there or went there. No Aviv barley was found, and no one is claiming to have found any Aviv barley as far as right now, the barley being Aviv today. So that's the news from Israel, which is important for us because that's how we determine whether or not it's a new year. Scripture says to observe the month of the Aviv. The month in which you find Aviv will be the month in which we do Passover. and the closest thing I can find to a command in Scripture regarding a new year. So, for that reason, I am very persuaded that that's what we do. We look for that Aviv barley, and if we find it, then it's a new year. If we don't, it is not a new year. So, as far as barley reports, Brian Cumbery, who else? Gisela Weisenberg, John Ilgen, Brian and Linda Cumbery, Becca Biderman. So none of them have claimed, to the best of my understanding and what I'm reading and what I'm seeing. Becca Biderman was the one that kind of confused me for a minute there, but she believes the as long as the barley is Aviv, by the time the new the wave sheaf is to be offered, and you got 3 days to dry it out, then they're fine. But Becca herself does not believe the barley is currently today Aviv. So lots of folks using different criteria, oats and lambs, and I mean, you can't go by the lambs. I mean, that's easily manipulated. If you keep the ram away from the ewes until sometime late fall, then you're going to have lambs born in what's called March, what's called April. If you allow the ram to be with the ewes in late summer, then you're going to have lambs in what's commonly called January. So I don't know, just a lot of different ideas on how we determine a new year. But the only one that's actually a command in Scripture would be Deuteronomy 16:1. So that's what I'm going along with. My goal is to remain as close to Scripture as I can in anything I believe. And all of man's ideas and fluff and all that, I'm not really into. Trying to avoid the human equation here. Only thing human involvement is taking a look at a field and seeing whether it's Aviv. If it is, then great. If not, then it's not. So, all right. So the word is there has been no Aviv found, based on pictures, based on videos, and multiple witnesses. So that's the story on the Aviv. And so we are now in the 13th month of Yahweh's year. I've never seen, as long as I've been a believer, ever heard a report of barley being Aviv at this stage of the year. As far as I'm talking about in terms of the growing season, this is early, quite early. There's a lot of signs where, it's just not ready. So anyway, that is the word from Israel. Now, as far as new moon reports, we've got to take a look here. According to some witnesses, the new moon was seen in some locations on the night of, not this tonight, but the previous night. 3 people in Arizona, 5 people in Arizona, actually, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we've got even some folks in Canada, California, but this Canada would be Saskatchewan. That's one witness. California, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, DeBerry, Florida. So we had nothing but solid cloud cover here. New Mexico, I don't know whether these reports are 100% naked eye. I think it is. You get this many people, naked eye being the initial sighting. And I think it was kind of anticipated it would probably be seen last night across various areas. So, but I did not want to do a new moon broadcast last night, mainly because I wanted to be able to give you a report on whether we're in a new year or not. So unless, you know, you have that, you don't really know when to set your feast dates. And I mean, literally, if the barley was seen, then it would be possible that here in just a couple of weeks we'd be having Passover. But as of now, it is going to be 6 weeks away. And the new moon should have been pretty easily seen throughout the United States last night. So I would have counted today as a new moon day. And it was seen in Florida. Actually, let's see. Yeah, seen in Florida. A lot of the United States have cloud cover. So that's, makes it kind of difficult for us. But if you want to go ahead and wait a day and just wait until tonight, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that, honestly. Other reports, let me see here. I'm going to check something. And I'll check our own reports from various folks out there. All right, west central New Mexico. Lots of cloud cover here in Missouri, making it difficult for us to see. Okay, check that out. All right, and I'm going to check our own reports here. Looks like Pedro Hernandez says he saw it in Key West, Florida. No surprise there. Two witnesses in New Mexico and two in Arizona last night, according to Brother Richard. Okay. And then let me double check my email. Sometimes people email things in, so I'm going to check that real quick. Just trying to make sure we get the full report from various witnesses. See, Brother Neil sent me a text, and he said that he had a picture of the new moon, and I don't know if that was from last night or tonight. Not sure. Was it Neil? Yeah. So I asked him that question. I'm going to go to double check our emails. We've had a lot of things going on here in Missouri today. So that was tonight he saw it. All right, so based on multiple reports, definitely no Aviv barley. In multiple reports, we do have a number of people saying they saw the new moon last night. I don't have any emails coming through. From last night. So I didn't think so. I just want to double check. So that is the new moon reports. I don't really have any scriptures that, where biblical months that happened in the 13th month other than Ezekiel laying on his side, and then that requiring a 13th month. In order for that whole statement to be true there in the book of Ezekiel. So, other than that, there were no 13th month events recorded, and so I don't have any scriptures to go over with you. So what we have tonight are the Aviv reports, and praise Yahweh. Looks like we got some unity this year finally on that, and this all means our feast dates are going to be as follows. On the what the world calls the 8th of April will be Passover Day. And so that night will be the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That night is also when we believe we should be doing the Passover Seder or Passover service on the night of the 8th going into the 9th. And then that night will begin a Sabbath. It'll be a day of rest. Except you can cook on that day. And then for the remaining 7 days, starting that night, being the first night of the 7 days, we don't have any yeast products in our home, no leavened products in our home, no leavening. We don't eat any leavening. In fact, we closed down our coffee shop after thoroughly cleaning it and of any crumbs or anything that would be leavening in the coffee shop building. We get rid of all of our yeast products and then leavened products. So for those 7 days, we avoid all manner of leavening, and we eat unleavened bread instead of leavened bread for those 7 days. And it is a solemn observance. It's remembering Yahshua and his death for us on the tree. So, and then on what's called May 31st, we were going to do the Pentecost or Shavuot. And I should mention every one of the dates here on this calendar are going to be the same whether you do a Jerusalem sighting or a local sighting. It's all going to be the same. There won't be any differences this year, thankfully. And then in the fall, the 19th is going to be what's called Feast of Trumpets, or Yom Teruah, and that's a day of rest as well, including Pentecost is a day of rest. Feast of Trumpets is a day of rest. And then Day of Atonement is a day of rest and a day of fasting. And then Feast of Tabernacles, the 3rd and the 10th are days of rest. All the holy days are listed there along the bottom of the graphic there. So you know what days you need to take off work. Now, interestingly, this year, the Jewish calendar, because they like to change holy days depending on the convenience thereof, they actually move the Day of Atonement if it falls next to a Sabbath, and so they moved it this year, and the way they moved it happens to result in them actually keeping the correct holy days for the fall feasts. And so the Feast of Trumpets and Day of Atonement and Feast of Tabernacles holy days, all 4 of them, they're actually doing on the correct day this year, according to how I understand the calendar anyway. And so it doesn't happen too often, but this time we're actually, the Jewish calendar is in unison and in unity with our calendar. So very interesting. But it's not the case with the other days. Because they don't move Pentecost, they don't move unleavened bread, they don't move the only day they move is Day of Atonement, because they don't want it to fall next to the Sabbath, and so they move it if it does. And this time they move when that moves, all 4 of those feast days, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles, all of them move. They move them all together. So that's their tradition. So that's just what they believe. I don't agree. But these are our official feast dates, and so we are actually going to be doing feast planning starting here next week for Feast of Tabernacles. And within a month or so, hopefully, we'll have information available up on Eliad.com regarding signing up to join us for the Feast of Tabernacles this year. Hopefully you can join us for that, and love to have you join us. And for those of you just joining us, just want to let you know we don't have any reports of Aviv barley in Israel as of this date, and it is officially the 13th month of Yahweh's calendar. There aren't any real biblical events that happened in the 13th month, and so we're not really going to go over any scriptures on that. But you might say the Ezekiel, when he laid on his side, then based on the text, it does require a 13th month for that text to actually be true. So you can read through that if you like, but mainly I want to convene this evening to make sure everybody knew there was no Aviv barley found, and it is officially the 13th month of Yahweh's calendar, and therefore our feast dates are listed here as I've shared earlier. So anyway, it is a new moon, so I am going to blow a shofar here before we go and get the shofar out of my desk drawer, and we'll sign off with a shofar blast, and we'll go from there. All right, praise Yahweh. Hallelujah, blessed be the name of Yahweh. May your evening be blessed, and a happy 13th month, Rosh Chodesh Sameach to you all. And shalom, shalom, shalom to your homes.